All right. Welcome, Steeler Nation, Steeler faithful. Fair weather, Steeler fans. Fake Steeler fans. Over-optimistic Steeler fans. Pessimistic Steeler fans. True Steeler fans. New Steeler fans. Old Steeler fans. Whatever type of fan you are. I'm sure you'll be represented today, and welcome. I appreciate you. Real quick show, knee-jerk reaction to the Bears versus the Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers were unable to come away with the win. Chicago Bears were able to win the game by a margin of 31-28. Pittsburgh Steelers are now 6-5 on the season. The Baltimore Ravens are 6-5 on the season, and there's 6 football games remaining. And the Pittsburgh Steelers play the Buffalo Bills next week. So let's talk about it. Let's see who's in here. And all I'm going to do is read my quick notes that I just took as I watched the game. Again, guys, my Sundays are crazy now. I had an AAU tournament. Unfortunately, my son's team did not make it to the championship. They won their first 2 games. They needed to win the 3rd game. They lost the game by 1 point. 1 point. And we should have won the game. Literally, we should have won the game. I know people always say that, but we should have won the game, man. We missed way too many layups. We missed a couple free throws. You know, again, when you win or lose a game by 1 point, it easily could have went your way. And the guys didn't get it done. But, you know, they played well this weekend. Mace played well this weekend. Hit a couple threes in both of the games yesterday. You know, had some timely things, had an assist, had another one that should have been an assist, but one of the guys dropped the ball. But he played well. The team played well. They just couldn't get it done today. So, but long story short, guys, this is why I'm here right now. I watched the condensed version of the game, each and every snap. I made notes, and that is what I'm going to talk about. Let's get to it. I'm going to get right to it. Hello to some of the early commenters. CT Pittman, my guy. My man Mark is in the building. What's up, Ron? Ron in the building. Rel Fax in the building. Cade in the building. Who else? Steeler Cards in the building. My good brother Kenyon in the building. Who else? Why Diggie's in the building. Master of Music, I think I saw Tim, my man Brent in the building as well. Knight Rider, what's up? He's in the building. So let's get to it. And speaking of which, who won? Hold on, let me look. Who ended up winning that Cowboy game? Let me see real quick before I get to us. I'm just curious. Because I know the Eagles were up big. And then the Cowboys came storming back. Let me see. Let me see. Or are they still playing? Oh, it's still playing. 21-21. Okay. Cowboys seem to be driving. 14 seconds left. So interesting. Looks like the Cowboys might get it done. But anyway, guys, let's get to it. Again, I'm going to read to you the notes that I made as I just watched the condensed version of the game. Took me 40 minutes. Here's what I got. The Steelers defense, they go 3 and out. Steelers defense put up a 3 and out, man, to start the game. Great. Beautiful. That's what you hope is when you defer or you win the toss or whatever, or whenever you're in a situation where you're put on defense first, you hope your defense holds, right? Because you kind of steal a possession, so to speak. You hope your defense holds. You get the ball back. You score first. That is the ideal. It's ideal to do that, and that is the idea, right? And then you get the ball first to start the second half. That is usually the plan when you kick off. So the Steelers defense, they put up a 3 and out, couldn't ask for better than that. But guess what happened right after that? On the very first pass of the day from Mason Rudolph, interception. Tried to throw a deep ball or deep down the left sideline to DK Metcalf. The corner was in good position. The ball, in my opinion, I'm going to say this a couple times today. In my opinion, the ball a little bit overthrown. underthrown, because anytime a receiver kind of has to wait for it. However, it was a great play by the corner, but again, the cornerback right there, he undercuts it, and we're picked off. And if I'm not mistaken, the Bears scored off of that interception. Cannot start a game like that, folks. On the road, you just can't. You just can't. Not after your defense gave you a 3-and-out, got you the ball. You cannot turn the ball over right there and allow points off of that. The next thing that I have, the Bears, like I said, went right down and they scored a touchdown, and it was aided by a defensive pass interference by one Peyton Wilson. The next thing that I notated, Rudolph looked good on the Steelers' first scoring drive. Looked okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Mason Rudolph as I wrap up my notes, but looked okay on that drive. I thought it was some nice play calling, the way the Steelers were mixing in some short stuff, some quick screens, and, tight ends involved, running the ball. That first scoring drive by the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay, all right. Looked like the Steelers, the offense was going to be able to settle in. Right after that, next notation I have, what a play by TJ Watt, able to sack and produce fumble on one Caleb Williams, and I believe it was Nick Herbig who recovered the ball in the end zone, and the Steelers defense gets you a touchdown. And at that point, the Steelers are up 14-7. But again, great play by TJ Watt. I know in the eyes of some, TJ Watt, some people will say he has had a down year. Hasn't had the gaudy sack numbers. I understand that. Herbig is leading, if I'm not mistaken, at least last week, Herbig was leading the Steelers in sacks. But largely, guys, if we're being honest, this hasn't been a huge sack year from the edge rushers, right? I don't think any of them have double digits. Y'all check me on that. But I don't think any of them. I don't think Highsmith, TJ Watt, nor Herbig, I don't think none of them are in the double digits. So sacks hasn't been as high, but these guys have been producing pressure. All of them, I can say, have been producing pressure, as well as guys like Keanu Benton has been helping with that. Derek Harmon has helped with that. In some rare instances, even Y.A. Black has helped with that. Cam Hayward has helped with that. We've gotten pressure, but the sack numbers aren't there. Let me check the chat real quick. Am I correct in that, guys, that none of those guys have? None of them have double-digit sacks, right? I don't see anybody commenting, but I don't think we do. But anyway, let's get back to it. Yeah, nobody has it. Thanks, K. West. Appreciate you right there. All right, let's get back to the rest of my notes, man. The running back wasn't ruled. Oh, here we go. This was a sequence. So TJ Watt, we forced the sack, get the touchdown. Next thing I wrote, the very next possession, the defense forced another fumble on the very next series, right? And I wrote, I'm not sure why their running back wasn't, considered forward progress being stopped. Right after that, the next series, the Steelers are called short on that tush push. And from my view, again, when you watch the condensed version of the game, they show all of the plays and some of the commentary. So I don't know. I didn't see the replay or anything like that. But in real time, and even the replay that it did show on the condensed version, it looked like we clearly got the first down on that. And it's one of those things where people say the ball doesn't lie. One of them, I guess people could say that because some people are going to say, well, the Bears running back, like I even said it, I thought his forward progress may have been stopped and we got the fumble. So I guess some people are going to say, oh, that was a makeup call and the ball don't lie, that the Steelers were not given a first down, but that was a first down. I don't know. But then, interesting. And somebody tell me what team it was last week. I can't remember. But then also, the Steelers pulled off a fake. They pulled off a fake tush push. And Kenneth Gainwell takes it 56 yards for the touchdown. Now, which one of you guys will remember? A team did that last week. Who was it? I don't think it was was it the Eagles? It wasn't the Eagles, was it? But I remember a team doing that last week. The Ravens. There you go. Thanks, Kenyon. I remember seeing the play. I just couldn't remember what team did it. So one thing I will say about the teams, and including the Steelers and others, I'm so glad that NFL teams largely have adopted this tush push and have not continued to watch the Eagles just do it. I'm so glad that more teams now have joined in on the fun. Like even with us, I like the way we do it with our tight ends, and Aaron Rodgers usually stands back there and watches. I know a couple times Mason Rudolph took some sneaks today. Rodgers isn't doing that, but I have no problem with the way we have run the tush push. And it was the Ravens who did that same thing last week. And the reason why I bring that up, thank you, finally, Pittsburgh Steelers staff. Let me give them a quick round of applause, a quick one. Thank you for getting with the times and doing things that work. Clearly, they saw that. And I can't 100% say that Arthur Smith bit off of the Ravens, but clearly they saw that. And they pulled it off themselves today. Great call, Artie Smith. Great call, Smith. And I know everybody wants to give Tomlin credit for everything, whether it's good or bad. So if Tomlin made that call, great job to him too. But I think that the coordinator called it. Great call. Thank you, Steelers staff, finally getting on board with some things that, looking around the league and seeing what works. So anyway, we do that. So then the Steelers are in decent position, man, at that point. Here's the next thing I wrote. Kyle Duggar. He dropped the interception with 25 seconds left in the first half. Why is that important? The Bears got a field goal. I think 1 or 2 plays right after that. The score of this game, guys, was 31-28. And again, I know you can't always say apples to apples. You can't compare it like that because you never know, depending on what this would happen and that would happen. You don't know if the same totals would have been. I'm just saying that was huge because in the grand scheme of things, that allowed the Bears to get 3 points and go into that half 21-17. It allowed them to get those 3 points, and the Steelers ended up losing the game by 3 points. So that was huge. Come on, Kyle. Listen, you had a pick 6 last week. I know you got some hands. That one, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me, looks like it hit him right in the hands and chest, and it kind of bounced off. Gotta make that catch. Gotta make that catch. Am I right on that, guys? Am I right on that? Y'all correct me now. Because again, I watched the quick condensed version on my computer, not the big TV screen. I just watched it on my computer, and it looked like it was, boom, catchable, and he dropped it. But come on, you got to make that catch, man. You got to make that catch because that takes 3 points off of the board. And you never know what it does to momentum, man. If the Bears go into the half 21-14, you just never know what that does to them. Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. I have a couple more notes, and then I'll be pretty much done. I told you these shows are going to be quick now as far as the recap show, the quick knee-jerk reaction. What else do I have? Oh, man. In the third quarter, early in the third quarter. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because, again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but I know it's some people that are coming in, right? Because I didn't watch the game live and I had to watch the condensed version, shout outs to NFL Plus. What happened on that punt early in the third? Because the way the ref called it, he said holding on the receiving team. But it must have been holding on us. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. We punted the ball early in the third, so we didn't do anything with the first possession. It was 11 minutes and something left. Brandon Echols got down, perfect coverage. He hit Duvernay, got him down on the 8-yard line, and then I saw the ref say holding receiving team. But it must have been holding on us because the very next play it showed 4th and 20, and it was a re-kick, and that kick wasn't as good. They ended up getting the ball at the 40. Am I correct on that, guys, as far as saying, did the ref say it wrong and it was actually holding on us? Somebody help me out. Holding on Skoranek. All right, appreciate y'all. Hello, Alexis. Good to see you, Miss Lady. Thanks, guys. Because like I said, the condensed version is beautiful, but you miss some of the intricate things like that because I figured the ref called it wrong. But again, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Yeah, Kenyon, actually, now that I see you, I think you text that to me too when you was giving me the recap. That's a mistake, guys. And again, I'm going to get to that in a second. That is a huge opportunity right there. You pin them on the 8-yard line, anything might happen. You put them on the 40. Now, right after that, they hit like a 17-yard strike to Odunze, and that got the ball rolling. That got the ball rolling again for the Bears, man. And then I believe they scored on that drive, I think. Next thing that I have notated, Mason Rudolph sack and fumble late in the third quarter. Now, here's one thing that I want to say to the coaching staff. Again, I'm going to play you guys' game because y'all say everything's Mike Tomlin's fault. So I'm always going to include Mike Tomlin, right? But Arthur Smith or Mike Tomlin, it may have worked throughout the season. And I'm not saying it was wrong today. I'm just pointing this out as something to pay attention to. Sweat had 2 sacks today. Both sacks, he was one-on-one with Darnell Washington. Both times. Again, I am not beating up Darnell Washington. I know everybody says, oh, he's Mount Washington. And shout outs to my man, Mr. Winningham. He said on Tuesday, he thinks later on in his career, when his body matures or what have you, he's going to be an outstanding left tackle. He has the body frame for it. Maybe he does. But as of today, folks, I don't care how big he is. Today, he's played tight end. He plays tight end today. So tight ends are not always the best guys to block edge rushers one-on-one. But again, I'm not going to beat up the coaching staff because maybe we've done this more and I just didn't pay attention to it and it worked. I know we use them a lot in the run game, but I just want to point that out. Both times it was Sweat. The sacks, I think we gave up 2 sacks today, or it might have been 3, but I know 2 of them, 2 of his sacks were both times he was one-on-one with Darnell Washington. So that's something to pay attention to. But in that situation, man, we just cannot turn the ball over. We cannot turn the ball over. So those turnovers right there were crucial. And again, maybe I was wrong on that holding the punt thing. I can't remember, guys, the sequences, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bears scored on both of those. I think they scored after that punt re-kick, right? The re-punt or what have you. And they scored also, I believe, on that Rudolph fumble because now I'm trying to think about the score. Yeah, because we went into the half 21-17, and yeah, we punted it away. And I think the Bears on that drive went up. That's when they went up 24-21. And then on that fumble, they scored again, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what made it, at that point, the score was 31-21. And that's when I was able to see a piece of it as I'm driving, back from the AAU tournament. And then we had to stop by. We had the football banquet today. So, I didn't get a chance to see it. I got to the banquet and I was able to see the very last drive. And I thought, okay, maybe the Steelers have a shot. But anyway, I'll get to that. But that was a significant moment as well. 2 turnovers, man, that led to points. And again, the drop interception by Duggar right before the half. So look at all of those points right there, right? That's the 17 points right there. Mason Rudolph, I wrote here, misses Roman Wilson right before the 2-minute warning. Oh, my God. I think a lot of people forget Roman Wilson is fast. He gets behind the defense. He's done it a few times this year, and we just haven't really connected on it. Oh, my God. Rudolph throws it towards the sideline, clearly out of bounds. But when you look at that play, even when they re-showed it on the broadcast, Wilson has about 2 steps. If Rudolph keeps that ball in play, and again, we got to say if he catches it, but you want to assume he catches it. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. He missed them. He just clearly missed them. Illegal formation on that scramble. that Mason Rudolph had late in the fourth quarter when we were trying to get in field goal range. Can't have that. They said that Fautanu wasn't covered up or something like that, and I don't know whose fault it was. I think Kenya might have texted me and said it may have been on Gainwell. But again, you can't have that. After that scramble, I mean, we this close to field goal range. I mean, anything could happen at that time. We had time on the clock still. And then, remember on that last 4th and 6, as my eyes watched it in real time as I'm sitting at the banquet, and then when I got home here and I just watched the condensed version, it looked like to me every single person, with the exception of the running back out of the backfield, which I believe on that down was Gainwell, they all ran like stop curl routes. Every single one of them was about a 7 to 8 yard vertical and then a hook. So however they want to classify it, as a hook or a curl or a stop route, all of them. And even where it looked like Rudolph was throwing, it looks like he was going to Metcalf, it was 2 guys right there. And that I put on coaching, i.e. Arthur Smith, because in that situation, we didn't have any better route combinations, no crossers or anything. And again, I'm not beating up Arthur Smith, right? His offense is what it is. Listen, we produced 28 points today. But I'm just saying, I just didn't like from my early vantage point. When I see the 22, I might feel different. I did not like those routes, guys. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? On that 4th and 6, the last one, it looks like everybody ran about a 7 to 8 yard curl. That ain't it, man. That just ain't it. Oh, that's right. You're right, CT. The offense produced 21 points. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, man, Knight Rider, yeah. It was either stick routes or curls or something. Just y'all know, just get to the spot and turn. And depending on the depth and things like that, some coaches will call it a curl. Some coaches will call it a stop. It's more like a stick. I just did not like that situation, man. I really did not. But you're right. Thank you for correcting me, CT. I forgot that fast about the defensive touchdown. But the offense put up 21 points, man. And it simply wasn't enough. But I'm not going to beat the offense up. One of the bigger things that happened today, the defense again gave up too much splash. Too much splash. Defense had a decent game early. They stopped the run pretty good. And it's not like Caleb Williams went crazy, but we just gave up too much splash, man. And I swear, again, at my first glance, it looks like we were just playing soft zone again. One of them touchdowns, man, was it Adunze or was it Moore? Right down the seam. We in a cover 3. And I seen a couple times where we were in a trail technique. It's just, they just were able to execute. And that's kind of what did it, man. And again, there was a point in the game where it was 21-17 and the defense just couldn't hold up. They couldn't hold up, and then we didn't score fast enough, right? We didn't get another touchdown until the fourth quarter. And in reality, that was the worst time to have, what was it, like a 17-play drive? That was the worst to have the longest drive of the game in the fourth quarter when you're down 10. Yeah, we scored, but we killed too much of the clock ourselves. Yeah, I just don't know, guys. And that's all I got for y'all. I'll sit in here and talk to you guys for a moment. Like I said, I already know there's going to be people in the chat, I'm sure, that will, blame the defense, blame the offense. You'll say it was Tomlin's fault. You'll say Tomlin didn't have the team ready to play. You'll say all kinds of things. I let everybody have their own opinion. With my 2 eyes, I feel like the defense gave up too much splash. And, our offense produced 21 points. That's not always going to be enough. And TJ Watt gave you, TJ and Herbert gave you 7. So when you put 28 points on the board, whether it's defensively or offensively, you should be able to win a football game. So that's why I would say this one I put more on the defense. They just gave up too much splash. And penalties. Way too many penalties when it mattered. Now, again, y'all will argue me down. I've had people argue me down. And they've told me that's on coaching. Guys, I will never accept penalties being a coaching issue. I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion. You guys don't have to agree. But penalties like holding and jumping off sides and lining up wrong and all of that, that to me will never be coaching. That is an individual thing. Period. Any of you guys who have ever played any sport, I'm sure would agree with that. That's an individual situation. Your coach cannot make you not hold, make you not false start, make you not, jump off sides, make you not get a personal foul. Your coach can't prevent that. But largely, man, listen, Steelers ran the ball well, game well, 10 carries for 92 yards. We know one of them was on the trickery. Jaylen Warren, 18 carries for 68 yards. They had a total of 186 yards rushing. You can't beat that. Mason Rudolph played about as well as I thought Mason Rudolph would play. 24 for 31, 171 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That is not an indictment on Mason Rudolph. I'm just saying. Mason Rudolph played as well as I thought Mason Rudolph would play. We could have won the game with him. His interception killed us. That hurt. The sack fumble hurt. Now, it's not all his fault, but you got to protect the football. And like I said, we only gave up 2 sacks today. And this is the thing. The 2 sacks we gave up came on a one-on-one situation with Sweat and Washington. Take that however you want to take it. But that's why they lost. I do see we got some Wonder Bread, man. So let me give a round of applause to my man, Jay Webb. I appreciate you, brother. He says, I appreciate you saying as usual. Thank you for that. He says, facts as usual, Sim. We shouldn't be surprised. Rudolph is watered down. Rudolph is watered down in a watered down passing offense. My bad. He says in a watered down passing offense will not get it done. Felt like we called a scared passing offense until they felt there was no option. Yeah, man, it kind of just felt, again, first watch, it just kind of felt like we was, take was there and all that. And I get that's cliche, you're supposed to, but it just, we didn't connect on any of the 50-50 balls, guys. None of them. We didn't connect on anything downfield. And I didn't see us take any deep shots in the middle of the field. Now, again, film might tell a different story. Chicago might have taken that away. I don't know. I can't say that in watching the game in real time because I really got to study formation and all of that and rotation and was it disguise, yada, yada, yada. But I will say we didn't take any real shots down the seam in the middle of the field. No over routes, no deep in routes, no dagger routes, nothing like that. I don't even think I saw any levels happening. It did feel very pedestrian from a passing offense standpoint, and it just didn't get it done. So again, I know everybody's going to have their own opinions about who won the game, who lost the game. It's all that's on the coach. Guys, listen, I said it before we went out there. I said it was going to be a tough game going to Chicago. You see the title. I didn't even realize it had been that long. I think they said the Steelers haven't won in Chicago since '95. Guess what? That was before Mike Tomlin. It's just a weird stat. Chicago Bears are actually a good team this year. Hello, they are. So if there's any silver lining, okay, we didn't play half bad against one of the better teams this season. One of the better offenses. I ain't realized that Chicago was that yardage-wise that they was that potent on offense. So this is going to be an interesting ride, man. The Ravens are now 6-5, and like I said, the Ravens are probably a better overall team in this situationally because of one Lamar Jackson. It just is what it is. I'm able to sleep at night better when I've really faced the facts. I've been telling you guys that I don't know what this team is. You know, on their best day, I think they can play with anybody, but I think this team is a spotty performing team. Right? It's nothing that I can have full confidence in. And that just is what it is. But it's going to be an interesting race. Because with 6 games left, I think the Ravens are going to lose some of those games as well. And the games against us will be interesting. I don't know if we beat them. I don't know. I'm just saying it's going to be interesting down the stretch because there's other AFC teams that are hanging by a thread. Right? Look at Kansas City. You know, the Steelers might very well be in the wild card picture, if not anything else. So I don't know how this is going to go, guys. I'm just enjoying the ride. I don't have expectations. I told y'all that weeks ago. I just hope they do good. But realistically, I don't know. I think this team is, like I said, a middle-of-the-road team that can get hot sometimes and then other times, not so much. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, and the Bills are interesting, man, because didn't they just lose? They just lost, right? They just lost, right? They lost Thursday. But they're still the Bills, so don't sleep on that. But yeah, you know, like I said, guys, listen, the Steelers just don't seem to be able to get it done in Chicago. So I don't know. That's an interesting take there, Knight Rider. You said that the Ravens were 1-5. Tomlin failed. I'm sorry. Okay. Listen, guys, I'm not here to debate any of you guys' feelings. Again, what I try to do is I try to be as open and honest and as unoptimistic as possible. And that's one thing I can hang my hat on. I said in the beginning of the season, hey, this team looks like a team that might be able to get to the playoffs, maybe win one. Then, what did I say about 3-4 weeks ago? I was like, I don't know. This team is streaky. So when I feel, all I'm saying is when I feel like that, I'm looking at the team globally, right? I know some of you guys only look at head coach. I don't. Case in point, Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Andy Reid and Mahomes has won these Super Bowls in the last several years, sure. But do I look at their team today and the record they are today and I point directly at Andy Reid? No. I just feel like something ain't clicking. Maybe they ain't the same team. They're not as potent. They got older or whatever. I look at the team and who's on the team. There are good coaches in the National Football League that loses games or has losing seasons, but they're good coaches. I'll tell y'all one that y'all will laugh at. I actually think Kevin Stefanski is a good football coach. I do. Cleveland has just been a wreck. Go figure. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So that's why I don't have the coaching debate with you guys. I just don't, because everybody's going to have their own opinion. So I salute y'all and y'all have it. Yeah, man, Randy, I think Kansas City has an outstanding coaching staff. Offensively, defensively, head man, they just, this year just ain't going well. Right? So, but I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, the coach says it. But that's what most fans do. They put everything squarely on the head man. Real Fact says, Sim, offense and defense playing potato on who decides not to show up all season. Defense do a good job against the Chargers. Offense falters. Literally the Ravens reverse today. Yeah, and it's the weirdest thing, man. It is the weirdest thing. And explain that. That's all I'm saying. Explain that. I don't know. I don't know. But hey, guys, I'll see y'all on Tuesday, man. I ain't got nothing else. Yeah, Jay Webb says we still struggle with complimentary ball. We've seen betterment in certain areas, but mostly not at the same time. Yeah. The weirdest thing to me, and like I said, guys, at first glance, it looks like a lot of zone today and loose zone. And we played a much tighter game against the Bengals that, in my opinion, has more potent receivers as a duo. So, I don't know, man. Listen, like I said, guys, it is any given Sunday. So, there you have it. But all right, I'm gone, man. I'm gone. Come back on Tuesday. And for anybody who definitely wants to call in, I'm going to have the Discord open. I want some of you guys that always, leave really good comments and debates in the chat. Why don't y'all call in? Like, I want to hear some of that banter. But outside of that, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in like always. If I missed any other super chats, I'm sorry. I thank y'all for that in advance. Y'all know that. And for you guys, man, that donate outside of YouTube with the Cash App and PayPal, I appreciate y'all wholeheartedly for that. Y'all already know that. And that information is in the chat, in the description for anybody who cares to do so. But yeah, I got it. Beat it up pretty good. So let's get out of here. Y'all know the routine, man. If you haven't already, boom. If you like the content, the only way you can show me that is by hitting the like button. It's the only way I'll know. Other than that, y'all stay safe out there. Stay blessed. Stay healthy. Like always, I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. And I shall catch you guys the next time. And if I don't see you Tuesday, happy Turkey Day. That's what I call it. Some of y'all know why. But all right, man, I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, at 8 o'clock, should probably be, should be 8 o'clock. But if not, it might be around 8:30. But I'll see y'all then. Peace.